are also kind of trying to understand how our Indian villages going to see this transition, because I'm sure that this is one basic question that comes to our minds when we think about making India's transition to e-cooking, and this means that villages also need to kind of undergo the transition. So how are we going to ensure that? Have we ensured the kind of complete electricity access that is needed? Have we managed power cuts?
So the clean cooking problem can be divided into two sections very clearly: the urban and the rural. And as you rightly said, the rural geography is what needs focus for the problem of clean cooking. That's where the chunk of emissions lie. That's where most of the biomass is burned, and that's where the any policy mandate needs to come into effect there. Unfortunately, even the LPG mandate that was the clean cooking direction for Indian government has not succeeded in the rural areas, primarily being because A, the cost of LPG refill is high, B, the distribution network is not as strong as in urban areas. Each delivery person has to cover a larger geography in rural areas as compared to urban population, and that adds cost. Electric cooking can face similar challenges. Cost is a big challenge. Uh, I mean, we can learn from our mistakes that we did in LPG while implementing the clean cooking through LPG schemes. We can learn from those. Cost of the fuel, in this case, electricity, is definitely one big factor to be taken into consideration. The grid, the government does claim that 99% of India has been electrified, and that is true. The grid has reached. Unfortunately, the kind of quality of electricity required for electric cooking to succeed in rural areas has not reached most rural households. Most rural households have a load, commissioned around 500 watts, but the induction cooktops that are needed to cook generally what the foods are needed are about 1,000 watts each, 1,000 to 2,000 watts, and therefore we need higher quality power. There's also the problem of frequent power cuts in rural areas. Maybe 1 hour electricity in a day can be quantified as the village being electrified. And that obviously is not a non-negotiable. Eating times cannot be negotiated, right? So the quality of the power and the duration and the frequency of the power needs to improve drastically for rural India to be able to adopt e-cooking. All the other challenges come later. This is the first step.